Man, I feel like a superstar compared next to you right now. You are struggling, my man.
That's because I have to set everything up, Highland.
I know. Yeah, I'm feeling like I'm doing my job perfectly.
Yeah, you're just crushing it over there. Alrighty.
That's the benefits of being talent.
Yeah, I wish I was talent. All right. Welcome back, everyone, to Nopes and Opes. First time on video for an actual recording of the podcast. Well, we've done it before, but this will be the first time after recording 20 episodes.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
when we first started,
effort.
we tried, but we were like, this is too much work and we don't know how to set it up. Now that at least I have the audio side of it figured out, now we're figuring out the video.
And I think also you tried deliberately on purpose to give me nightmarish self-images because you put the camera at the very bottom and it was like the worst possible angle, and it made me, well, no, actually it probably just showed the reality of things.
It just was what was there.
Yeah, it was not pretty.
It removed the blindfold, Highland.
Oh my God.
And you weren't ready.
No, I was not ready. No, man, it was horrible. Yeah, I put that blindfold on as quickly as I could, for sure.
And I think this is a good one to record for the first time because this is kind of like, as we were talking a little bit earlier, I think this is kind of like our official 1 year kind of anniversary of getting to know each other, being
we're
comrades.
Well, I mean, I think hopefully. I mean, we talk about transition periods in the book.
Yeah.
And I think that this for us is a pretty significant transition period.
Oh, it's huge.
Like maybe not a anniversary per se.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think we both kind of made a commitment.
Yeah.
Like we both kind of have decided like, hey, this is important to us and let's do what we can to make it work as well as we can. And let's put all the resources and energy and time and whatever we have into making this as big a success as we can. And we just decided to kind of go big or go home, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, what's funny is, I mean, everything, if this was any other project or anything I've ever tried in the past, it's so much easier to quit and say no, given the circumstances that we are in now. Like all things considered, all the crap that have happened in the last 3 months, and the fact that I'm moving away, it'd be so easy to be like, all right, that's it. Like we did it, we tried, it didn't happen. But surprisingly, there's something about it that makes me want to keep going, and like every day, it's a challenge in itself, like in my own respective life. But then there's like these moments where. Like the other day, Ricky Smith, who's a fan of the podcast and has emailed in and good friend, he, took a clip of ours and made a social media clip out of it. And I was stoked. I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like I was so thankful and appreciative of him. So,
well, can I just say one thing real quick? I mean, I don't know Ricky, right? Like I've seen a picture of him, but I don't know anything about that dude.
Yeah.
I think as highly of Ricky Smith as maybe anyone I know right now. I mean, that video was incredible, buddy. When I saw that, I was blown away. Yeah. I thought that was of the highest quality. And Rowan and I have been trying. I mean, well, no, not Rowan and I. Rowan has been trying to do something like that for a while now. And I think we're both pretty creative and both trying to figure things out, but man, you could not have nailed that better. That was awesome.
Well, one of the things, I've tried doing YouTube in the past and podcasts and all that stuff, and I would always get so frustrated with my lack of skill in doing it just because I don't know like how the programs work and whatnot. Like the program I'm using now to record this audio is something free that I downloaded like 3 years ago that I've used it and it's worked, but it's probably the worst way of doing it. Like if I sat down with an actual like podcast producer, they might be like, oh my God, you're doing it the hardest way possible. So as we've done this and it's gotten easier, seeing something like Ricky doing that and also taking a little bit of just kind of the work off my shoulders in a way, not that, Ricky's employed by us or that he's going to continue to do those, but just seeing it was like, oh, that's awesome. Like perfect.
Yeah, it was. And I mean, from my perspective, Well, one, I do appreciate anything that kind of alleviates a little bit of the pressure off of you
Yeah.
to try and make things a success. Because, I mean, in the end, really the sole kind of burden is on your shoulders for advertising and all the social media
Putting the
outlets and things
posts
like
out,
that. Yeah.
all that stuff.
So, man,
Yeah, Hyler will always text me on Sunday like, "Are we all good for Monday?" And I'm like, "Yep." And there's been times where I've completely lied to you, and the
Yeah.
next morning I'll wake up at 6 a.m. and then I will fully edit the episode and
Yeah.
then release it.
no, I figured that as well. I would have done the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But no, I think as far as Ricky's video and just the contributions from really everybody. I
Yeah.
mean, there's been contributions in different ways from a lot of different people,
Yeah.
and I just think it's been really interesting to me, kind of the dynamic of, because there have been plenty of times where I would have, if I was by myself, absolutely would not have continued. Not
Yeah.
even on the work level, like just emotionally when I walk in and just be like, nope, I'm done. Like
Yeah.
and somehow each person kind of lifts up the other person and we continue on.
Yeah.
But I just think it's such a cool dynamic how that has worked. And have you, from someone that has tried this before, have you always done it alone, or have you ever had a partner before?
Always done it alone.
Oh, okay.
I've tried with people in the past, but it was kind of like a half-assed effort. Like I would say like, "Oh, what if we try and do this?" Like me and Emmett tried recording a podcast one time.
Yeah.
And no offense to Emmett, but he did a lot of talking, and I was like, this doesn't feel like a conversation. So I was kind of like, yeah, like good idea, and then it just kind of fizzled out. And this is the first time that I've actually ever had like a creative partner in anything that is actually, one, been as passionate about it, and two, kind of understands what we're trying to do.
The passion has built though. Like in the beginning, I was kind of like anti-passionate.
Yeah, but you say you were anti-passionate, but then after the first one that went well, I could see your excitement and we were both excited.
Yeah.
So that propelled us into getting into the flow.
Yeah, yeah.
Like anytime I've done something creative and I've tried to include people in it, no one's as excited about it as I am. And with you, you already were someone that's very reserved and doesn't outwardly show their excitement. So I was like, let me just try. Like I really believe in this book. The message behind it is important. Let me just see. And then after the like first good one, I was like, okay, he's in. Like I got him. Because I think we recorded maybe like 2 at your place, and they were kind of like, we chatted. It was fun. Like we just kind of hung out, and it was just cool to record it. We had not posted anything, so it was like low stakes. Nothing really happened.
Yeah.
But then the third one, we were here and we finished it, and we were like, oh, that's actually something. Like we could post that, and then that's kind of what started the, what we have now.
The meteoric rise that we've experienced since then.
No, it has been good though. Like, we've had this month a little gain in followers and whatnot, and so just more interaction, which is cool, especially with like the Facebook group and just people reaching out. We're just seeing more instances of people showing interest in it.
Yeah.
So it kind of propels my excitement to be like, okay, let's keep going. Like, let's see where it gets to.
Yeah. No, I think it's been really, the path has not followed exactly what I thought it was going to do or what I wanted it to do in any way. But in a weird sense, I kind of, we're at a point where I think that we're supposed to be at, even though I would like it to be different in some ways. But I just feel, I don't know what it is exactly. I think everything.
But doesn't it kind of make sense? Like, I feel like the way that this has happened, for me personally, and I'm curious about you, but I always think like, of course, this is the way it starts to happen for me.
Well, I mean, I live my life a lot just by feelings and just kind of going with intuitions, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times, like the things that I've done, I'm just like, Highland, that made no sense. Like, what the heck are you doing? Well, why did you choose that? And it's just intuition. It's like, oh, okay. Like if I have to make a decision and I have a feeling like, oh, I'm going to take that path there, that's the path I follow, even though logically and from a success standpoint and things like that, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
But just something in my gut says, hey, that's the path for you. And a lot of times, I mean, it has led to some maybe consequences and results that haven't been as positive as I would have liked. But then again, I mean, as we've mentioned before, I just feel like everything that's happened up until now is responsible and necessary to get to this point. And I think this point in my life is exactly where I need to be and where I should be and where I want to be. And I look forward to what happens in the future. And so, yeah, like no regrets, no looking back, no saying, oh, I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have done that. Like, I feel like I'm exactly where I should be and want to be. And it's exciting to me.
I think a fun thing to do with our kind of idea of self-reflection for this episode, this is probably a bad question to ask you, but do you have a favorite episode that we recorded? Now, I know that most of the time you're like, I don't remember what we said or what happened, but is there anything of the last 21 that we've recorded that you have felt?
Okay, I'm going to take a moment just real quick before I even answer that question, because I want to take advantage of this because we have never, ever captured Lancelot on camera before.
Let me make sure he's
visible.
He is visible, but now he's even more visible.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that, because I mean, there have been
give him the spotlight.
Yeah, there have been a lot of calls. Like, is my leg in the view? Is he?
Yeah,
good to go?
he's clear.
Okay.
If you move your knee over a little bit, and you'll probably see him. But you're fine.
Yeah, sorry, no socks. But yeah, like this is Lancelot's first TV
camera
episode.
Appearance.
Appearance, and so.
Yeah, this is usually how the kind of layout is. Me and Highland will sit on this couch. Usually he'll sit farther over there, and then we'll record. But then for a while we totally changed my living room, and we're like, oh, we're going to make a set. And then it was 2 cushions across from each other, and then everything else was pushed in the corner.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was necessary, but then we just ended up recording our first one this way anyway. So I was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah. But also, I think, aren't you glad that we didn't do all the work that we were planning on doing?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were going to build the whole set and everything because I still want to pursue it with that same intensity and ambition.
Yeah.
But
no, we will.
I'm moving home, so it's like, well, I'm going to be at my parents' house. I can't be like, Dad, I'm building a podcast. And I'd be like, no, you're not.
He might. I don't know. Let's
Who
see.
knows?
We'll talk to him.
Come on, Fasha. Send us an email. Let us know.
Yeah. But I think, like, as far as moving forward in the podcast, I just think, for me, I'm super excited just because it gives,
Are you listening to yourself now?
Yeah, now because I've edited enough. I've been in the room when Rowan edits these episodes.
Yeah.
And he takes out probably 500 ums per episode. And now I'm listening to myself speak. And every time I hear that, I'm like, and it's just throwing me off.
Well, here's the worst part about it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to for this episode. So what I'll probably end up doing is the edited version will go on Spotify. So for the people that listen on Spotify and just want the clean, like no ums, no repeating of words, it's on Spotify. But for YouTube, it's so much harder to do that because anytime you say essentially the footage will like skip and it'll like look weird. Like if all of a sudden your hand is in a different place, your head's in a different place. So it'll like whatever we say now live is probably what's going to be up on YouTube.
For God's sake.
Until we get 2 cameras. But we talk about authenticity. This is it. This is raw, authentic footage. And hey, who knows? Maybe people really won't give a crap. Maybe only we care. But they'll listen and be like, I love it. Or it'll be the reverse. And they'll be like, yeah, go back to Spotify. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I would be very happy with that. I would have no problem.
Yeah, what if we start doing videos and just plethora of people being like, "This is horrible. Just do audio."
Yeah, people just start signing up like, please get off YouTube. Like, you do not belong
like,
here.
we will listen to your Spotify if you stop posting on YouTube.
Yeah, please do not harass us on YouTube anymore.
No, we're trying to be more confident. I honestly think that the ums and the repeating of words and the amount of times that I say like is who I am as a person, and it is who you are. And I think it's okay.
Well, in my defense, I'll just say this. And I'm hoping that with the video, maybe it forces me to be more cognizant and pay more attention to how I speak and how I deliver my words. But I will say this. One of the things that shocks me the most about doing a podcast, and something that I did not realize when I first started, I thought I just got to show up and talk, and it was a super fun day and nothing to it. But all of the all of those elongated words, things like that, is me actually expending quite amount of energy thinking and trying to figure out what I actually want to say. And so it might be a lame excuse, but I think all of the all of the triple repeating, all of the things that I do that we edit out of the Spotify version is actually an example of me trying to put together something worthwhile for people to listen to. Yeah. That's my excuse anyways.
No, I mean, it's funny because as I've edited hours upon hours of audio now, and I've heard every different variation of and all of that stuff, it's just how you think. Like when I speak, and one thing I hope that the video does for me is I slow the fuck down, because when I edit, if you look at Highland's kind of speech pattern, it's very long. It's kind of just drawn out. Like we looked yesterday, in 7 seconds, Highland said 2 words.
Yeah.
And in 7 seconds, I had like thrown out 20 to 30 different words because I speak so quickly. So I'm hoping that I can slow down my speech, because I sometimes feel like when people listen to that podcast, they listen to you for the wisdom or the, slow, methodic stuff. And then me, I'm the comedic relief that's like, that's how I feel. But, I think it's fun.
Well, yeah, but remember in the beginning when we put it out there, and like the most fervent people that were supportive, right? They were like, oh my God. And they would just, like, the thing that I heard the most is, oh, the voice. And then the thing that I heard consistently again and again is, oh, it just makes me want to go to sleep. And it's like, what the heck, man? Who wants that? Like people are saying that as a compliment. It's like, no, man, that's not a compliment.
Yeah. Like as you start to talk in a conversation, someone just,
yeah, it's like, oh, that's not what I want to do to people. But no, I understand the voice or whatever, but no, like I don't know. Like, how can we talk another way? I think this is this is what we got.
And we always talk about authenticity, and then we're trying to actively change how we speak. Like that's not authentic.
Well, I mean, I can't do it anyways. I mean, this is what I got. This is what I got to work with.
Can't teach an old dog new tricks.
No, not this old dog for sure. And then I think because I have a lot of my friends have been the most responsive so far, like the people that have supported the most. And
we've got a lot more Opes than Nopes, unfortunately.
There's a lot of Opes, for sure.
That's not unfortunate. I don't mean to say that, like, we love the Opes.
What the heck, man?
Sorry. I was saying unfortunately because it's like, none of my friends are like, dude, it's great. All the Opes are the best.
Although your friends have stepped up.
Yeah.
Ricky?
But they're kind of like behind closed doors.
Ben, we're still waiting for you to step up, by the way.
Send the freaking email.
Yeah.
What's just funny is I didn't know. I think most of the things with the Nopes or the people my age, they don't tell me that they listen. Like, I've only had a few people that have told me. There's David Kaiser has told me. Ben Boyer told me. But I originally did not think that he listened. A friend of mine, Nick Lyons, I don't know if he still listens. He listened to the first few, and Nick's not the kind of guy that I would imagine listening to this. And he's someone that's in Peoria, so when I go back, I'll get to see him, and I'll ask him. I'll be like, "Hey, are you still interested?" But it would be cool to have a good, diverse audience space. Like I like having the Opes, but I'd also like to have the Nopes because I don't know, it kind of validates the thoughts that I have and the conversations I have with you.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me feel so alienated, like I'm a 45-year-old man, like that I'm just constantly worried about the future.
Well, as a little kind of funny side note, is a lot of my friends now that they have actually seen you,
Yeah.
have complimented you and been like, "Dang, man, Rowan's a handsome dude. Rowan is," and I'm like, "Oh boy, all right, here we go."
Yeah.
Rowan's got some older fans out there.
Funny enough, right? So for some reason, my comedy style, and I think just for me and you real quick, we might have to pause real soon because I think we're about to get to 29 minutes, but I'll say
Okay,
this
let's
real
pause
quick.
it.
Yeah, we can just do
And
it
then-
now.
and
All
then-
right. So we'll keep this going. I'm going to do it real quick.
Keep these on. Okay. Yeah, because I want to hear about your comedy style. Oh,
my
Lance is
gosh,
showing
look at
off now.
Lance. Look at Lance.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Come on, Lance.
back to what I was saying.
Yeah.
So my comedy style has always been that of self-deprecating because my family
Oh yeah.
always laughs at the things that are happening to me, the embarrassing things, the funny things. So I always when I talk about myself, I just it sounds very negative. And the problem is that I've done it maybe as a defense mechanism or maybe as something to be funny.
Yeah.
But I think I've overdone it. And what are you doing, bud? As time has gone on, and especially from the podcast, I didn't realize that people paid that much attention to the jokes I say about myself.
Yeah.
So all of the people that have seen the clip on the Facebook page are like, Rowan is way different than I expected. I think I painted myself as this
Way more handsome.
this mutant man that's not attractive and what anyway.
Not a mutant. Just according to Betsy, you are Chewbacca.
Chewbacca.
She
right?
she thought
I was Chewbacca.
Yeah, in her mind, with the way that you described yourself, she imagined you as Chewbacca.
So what I'm trying to get at is, with all that being said, it's actually helped me try to be a little bit more confident on how I look. Because one, I think confidence is important. Don't be cocky. Don't act like you're, the Fonz, like you're the stuff. But be confident in who you are. Like, love the way you look and whatnot. So it's actually helped, and I think the video also helps me. Hopefully, it helps your your situation, because anytime we watch something, you're like, oh.
Oh, this is just a hot mess over here. I mean, this is the video aspect of this, I think, is really cool, and I hope that it adds quite a different dimension and gives people a chance to kind of see things in a different way. But for me, yeah, it's gonna be a significant journey. Like I really do not. I mean, I have spent most of my life trying to look worse. So,
what's that all about?
well, I can tell you exactly, because I thought if you looked a certain way, it would lower the expectations. And then when the expectations are lower, you can come in and just blow people out of the water and just be like, whoa, I never thought a dude that looked like that could perform in that way.
Oh, or if you look kind of like a bum, it's like, oh, he's actually, a genius dressed.
Yeah, like really smart.
Like Einstein kind of deal,
But I mean, there's always calculations going on in my head. Everything that I do there's a reason behind it. There's nothing done just haphazardly, even though I spend a lot of time and energy trying to make it look like things are haphazard.
Yeah.
Which is so funny.
But by you trying to look a certain way, isn't it also you not trying to look anyway? Like, for instance, it's a lot easier to look like a slob. You just don't try that hard. You know what I mean?
No, this takes a lot of work. No, oh yeah, you'd be shocked. You'd be shocked. No, I just think for me it's there is a certain amount of not caring.
Yeah.
But
does it help you in any does it help you mentally? Like you talk about it being calculated, but does it kind of give you some sort of relief or less anxiety?
Yeah, absolutely, because the expectations are lower,
Ah, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you walk into a room, I mean that we've had this conversation before too, and this is interesting. I don't know if we've ever had it on the podcast,
Okay.
but like just being a tall person,
Yeah.
when you walk into a room,
Highland is 6'5", by the way. Like not when he says tall, it's not like, oh, he's like 6 foot. Like he is. People are like, are you a basketball player?
I'm 6'6".
Yeah. You're 6'6". You're not 6'5".
No.
So you've lied to me this whole time that you're 6'5".
No, I've always said that I'm 6'6".
You said you were 6'5", I thought.
No.
Okay.
I
Highland's 6'6".
Yeah, I might be 6'5" now because I'm shrinking a little bit, but I've always been, I've always, in China, when I was teaching over there, I would introduce myself and the kids would always ask the same 6 questions. And one of the questions was, how tall were you?
Yeah. And if people are curious, I'm 6'4", by the way. So
exactly.
if anyone wants to know.
Yeah. And you had hair when this podcast began,
when we
right?
start, I shave it because I think it looks cooler.
No, that's from a story that Rowan told me yesterday, and just about someone from Minnesota, and it's just like, what?
Oh yeah.
But I'd always introduce myself as 6'6", and I'd always say that Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and myself are always we're all the same.
And you guys are all equally as successful and well known.
Well, I mean, if you say so, yeah, I think so. No, I, to me, that would be horrible.
Well, yeah,
But,
I mean,
that-
you're talking about people that are, I mean, literally known worldwide.
No, but I mean, that ties into the story. Like when I walk into a room, I'm automatically noticed.
Yeah.
And so people pay attention to you and they make a judgment. And if that judgment is, the expectations are here or the expectations are here. And then if the expectations are here and you can rise above them, that's a win. But if the expectations are here and you only come here, then in a way that's a loss. So yeah, again, it's all calculated, right?
But
it's just
to that point. So I think I kind of have done that in a way, right?
Oh.
So when I'm self-deprecating, I'm kind of setting the expectation lower.
Yeah.
But it's had the reverse effect, is that I think I overdo it, and then people are like, "Oh, I do think less of you."
Yeah, but look at the end result. People thought you were Chewbacca, and now they're like, "Dang."
Yeah, but now
Rowan,
you're reinforcing that, like, Rowan, you should keep doing that. I'm like, no, I think I should.
No.
Feed more into no more self-deprecating, a little bit more. Well, because my problem is that I don't like, I've talked about on the podcast, I want to be an actor, comedian, whatever it is, some facet of entertainment, right? And I don't want all of my jokes just to be like, look at me, I'm bald, I'm short, I'm hairy. Like it's easy, it's tacky, like it's not actual humor. It's not good, like quick-witted comedy, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I at least started to drift into that, and now I'm like, I got to get out of that. Like, stop. Woe is me. Like, get a little more confident. Get your mojo back.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit kind of intellectually lazy too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think you can do better. I know you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Use that pretty bald head to the full potential.
So you didn't answer my original question, which was
sorry.
like 20 minutes back, but we'll go back to it.
Okay.
Of the episodes, is there any ones that you remember specifically liking? I can also pull up the list of the titles. Let's do this. First, think of any ones that you specifically liked. Then, as a part 2, I want us to pick what our favorite title of an episode was.
Oh, well, I will say this. I can't remember any ones that I liked, but the one that we just released today, April 8th, is the one that I am a little bit, the one that I'm kind of embarrassed about because I spoke so much.
Yeah.
I probably spoke 90% of the time. And as I was listening to you edit the episode, I was just like, Highland, shut up. Like, quit talking. I was actually shocked and a little bit dismayed that I spoke so much.
Well, I think it's something that so Highland does not listen to the episodes. He, like, when he leaves here, he goes off into his world, which is fine. Like, I can respect that. The thing is having him listen to them, he now can kind of tell like, oh, what's good about a certain specific episode and what's bad about a specific episode. So you being able to see it for the first time, being like, oh, okay, this is what would be better to do rather than, you know, kind of
Well, I do
monologuing.
think that the episodes have consistently gotten better
Yeah.
each week.
I think the episode that came out was still good. I don't think it was bad. I know
No,
you're
no.
embarrassed about it, but I think it was important. I think it was important for you.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, I had a lot to say, no doubt about that. But I just, yeah, as far as a favorite episode, I honestly cannot remember exactly. I mean, if you did bring up, if you, like, okay, if you give me a list of the 3 that you've enjoyed the most, that you think are the most important, then I could probably choose one of those as my favorite. So do you have 3 that you would count as your favorite?
I just was hoping you'd get 1, but 3, that's more to say. Well, okay, I can know of a few. One of my favorite ones is the first one we ever did that went really well, because that's kind of what started it. And that episode is called The Book Begins, right? So that one was a really big favorite of mine. The other one,
I think that was the first one where we both looked at each other and we said,
yeah, we got
"Dang,
done.
that was really good."
Well, because what happened that initiated that was I started to ask you questions about your thought in the book. Just like this, you had written something and I was really questioning it, and you're like, I didn't think of it that way. And then it led to a very kind of intellectual, philosophical conversation that I think excited both of us.
Yeah.
My other favorite one, most of the time, my favorite ones are kind of related to that, is when I kind of can get you to be like, oh,
yeah. Absolutely.
The other one is the Supreme Little Voice, which is titled, I think it's, Supreme Little Voice. And that's the one where I essentially was like, this is what I think the chapter is actually about. And you were like, you're right. You know, if we could do revisions, like that's what it would be. And I was like, nice. So
yeah, I like it. I like it when I'm challenged and I have to kind of revise my own thinking.
No,
I mean, one of the greatest, I think, opportunities and benefits for me doing something like this is to have the differing perspectives that people have offered and kind of the challenges and the ability to kind of think things through again and look at, I am shocked really that I wrote this book. I don't know actually who wrote the book. I'm not convinced it was me.
You know what's funny? Now that I've been around you for this long, I'm also shocked.
Yeah, I don't know who wrote the book. I mean, my name is on there, but I'm not certain.
Well, it's funny because now, I mean, maybe it's just as you've gotten older, because it was 10 years ago that it was published. That doesn't necessarily say it wasn't written in that year. How long did it take you to write the whole thing?
It was written. Let's see. Yeah, probably written within a year.
Okay,
I mean,
so let's say, it's like 11 years old then.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if it's just as you've gone through life, maybe at that certain age or that time, it seems like you're very certain on things.
Oh my God.
You have a very concrete, like, this is
way too certain.
Right?
The relationships, come on. What the heck?
But it's funny now because when we talk about things, we're very kind of like, I don't know. We're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Which is good. And I don't know if maybe I feed into that a little bit and then you also help me be a little bit more concrete. Because when we first met, I think the impression or the kind of personality you give off is someone that's 1, calculated, and 2, knows what they're doing in every moment and is very certain on the decisions that they make, right? Then when I get to see, he's twitching because he's dreaming. But when, as I've gotten to know you, I can kind of see behind those layers and be like, oh, like he is uncertain about these things. But also we talk about these situations where it's like, there is no real answer. Like, it's just about, you have to kind of figure it out on your own.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of life is just reacting to what's presented to you.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of times I do spend a lot of time kind of thinking things through and trying to predict the scenario that's going to happen so that I do have the answer. I do have the how I'm going to react, whatever. And in this scenario, like a lot of times we're taking down a different path and I have no idea what's coming. And you see the genuine kind of confusion or
Yeah.
thought or just thinking about things. And that's more natural. That's more authentically
Well,
me.
also, I think at this time you're introducing someone else's opinion into it. Like you're actively listening to it.
Yeah.
As when you wrote it, it was just you.
Well, that's a
with
whole
your
nother
thoughts.
that's a whole nother really cool dynamic about it, is because just to realize when I wrote this, I was very certain. I was like, yep, because it was only me. I was just like totally congratulating myself on figuring everything out, and I thought that I had it all dialed in, and I was just like, yeah, of course. And then when somebody comes in and be like, yeah, but what about this? And then be like, huh? You don't get to, like, that's not part of the equation. Like, you're not, like, it's just
Yeah.
me. I get to think exactly. And then it goes all sorts of haywire. But I really enjoy being challenged. And I honestly think that this book is an attempt to, and I mean, I have never really admitted this out loud, but it is a legitimate attempt to explain human thoughts and behavior. It's a really, really big attempt.
Yeah.
And when you make such a big swing, you're going to miss on a few things for sure. So I have no problems being challenged or admitting that I'm wrong.
Well, I think that's one of the nice things is that while listening to this podcast and possibly reading along with the book or just kind of taking your own interpretation, is like Highland makes a huge swing. But as we've discussed in the podcast, like he also can reflect and be like, yeah, like I wasn't right about that. And so when I tried to do, like when I read it, as I didn't think like, oh my God, this guy's the Messiah. Like I should listen to everything he said. No, like when I read it, there were things that really hit home with me that I was like, I'm going to take these and like put them into practice and see how they'll work for me. And they did work in a beneficial way. The current situation doesn't make it seem like it worked, but like mentally I've improved, but like, you know, career-wise, not so much. But those are two separate things. Maybe that should be a new chapter. It's career. But for my mental health and my self-image and all those things, I took the things that I valued from the book.
Yeah.
And then the other stuff I just kind of left to the side, and it's fun to explore. But I've always been someone that's like, if you have a certain opinion and you're very concrete about it, I'd love to hear it. Like anytime if it's politics, whatever it is, like I will listen to what you have to say.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I'm going to have to agree.
Well,
but like I'm open to hearing your thoughts.
And I think that's important too. And I think it's maybe the first opportunity to put it on video, because I think the way that people, when they listen to these words, I think people can say it and you can say these words and be lying pretty easily.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to me to really kind of put it out there that if you buy this book, if you read this book, these are just suggestions. These are thoughts. These are observations. These are not. When I published it, the publisher wanted to put it into a category, and I really was very hesitant. I hated that idea, but they wanted to put it into self-help.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the exact opposite. Like the whole idea of this book is we don't need self-help. We are the help. I am the person that can help me. I don't need someone else. Like for me, it seems very antithetical to have someone else tell you how to live your own life.
Yeah.
And so
like anytime you've ever been in a tough situation, and I think everyone can relate to this, they might go to their mom, they might go to their dad, they might go to their friend and be like, what do I do? And I'm sure everyone has experienced this when someone makes a suggestion and in your head, you're like, that's the worst suggestion I've ever heard. Like, I don't want anything to do with that. Like, I don't think that's a good idea. I've realized that, you know, like even with my parents, like they made suggestions about like what to do with my career. Yeah. I love them to death. I do. But there have been times where I'm like, I don't think that's right for me. Like, I don't think it's the best move. And I think the book, if there's no language in it that would articulate it in that way.
Yeah.
Like there's no part of it that makes you go like, oh, I should do it this way.
Yeah.
It's more of just like, this is how people think about things and how.
Well, it's a suggestion of how possibly
Yeah.
you can get to a point where you feel good about your life and feel the most empowered and
Yeah.
moving forward in the most positive way. But by no means is it an attempt to say, hey, do this, step 1, step 2,
No.
step 3.
And if anyone's read the book, we put out around 21 episodes. We've been doing this for maybe 4, 5, 6 months now.
Wow.
I'd be happy to just kind of hear what they thought. Like when I read the book, I had a pretty good review of it. Like I really enjoyed it, but we haven't really heard from anyone specifically. Because, for instance,
Well, we have. I think it's super interesting that Emmett didn't. He's like, nope. I don't want
Emmett tried
anything to do
reading
with
it,
that.
and he said to me, he's like, yeah, I don't think I like it.
Which I think is good, because at first I was like, what? Like, no way, man. You don't get to say that. Like, you're family. Like, I think you're like contractually obligated to like it.
Well, he wanted to be on the podcast, and I was like, if you want to be on the podcast, you have to read the book.
Yeah.
I think going forward, we've changed that
Absolutely.
mindset because we don't want it to seem like you're on our team. We're the right guys. It's like, no,
Well-
we want to introduce people that are like, actually, what you say is bullshit or whatever it is.
No, I think it's, to me, actually thinking that through, it was really important because that book's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? It's not going to, if you don't kind of, if you haven't been through certain situations, if you haven't kind of put yourself in.
I think one thing you could categorize if you haven't been through really big transition periods.
Yeah.
Because I think that's, for instance, when it struck home with me, I have been going through and at the time was still going through a really big transition period. And it just helped because it's kind of like your life gets flipped upside down from what you thought it was going to end up being. And then it's like, nope.
And you're just looking for something.
Yeah.
Give me something to hold on to.
Yeah.
Like, tell me where to look. Like, just give me something.
Well, it helps you kind of focus on, like we've said, you and taking control.
Yeah.
So it puts the power back into your own kind of mindset.
Yeah.
And I think that's huge for transition periods because it sometimes can feel like, oh, this is out of my hands. This is happening to me. It's not something that I'm doing.
Yeah, yeah.
And where it's like, well, okay, it is happening to you or whatever it may be, but like that doesn't mean that you don't have a choice or the power to do something about it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, with that, I think should we go over the list of our favorite titles to end it?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Because Highland's a writer. I'm somewhat of a writer, so I think it'd be kind of fun to see which ones we like. All right, I'm gonna go from the beginning, and then oh hey look, Lance is awake. Hi bud. So the first episode is just intro to Nopes and Opes. Second one is the book begins. ... Third is the hardest simple truth. Then burnout / Rowan chooses a career. And then who are you surrounded by? Why? ... We've got mail. Righty. Let's see the next one. In 2024, have some friends. ... Some
like that
real
one.
friends. ... And take care of them and yourself. Yeah, of course you like that one. You completely wrote that. I didn't come up with that. That was you. I was like, what should we name it? And you're like,
oh,
that.
no. I think I liked the episode.
Oh, that episode?
If I remember, I think.
Yeah, that's the one where you share your own personal story and it's emotional.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the one where it's the first time. Well, it's the only time so far that Highland is. I mean, you've gotten vulnerable, but this is when you're actually emotional, I would say.
Yeah, that was a big one.
That was a big one. Next one is authenticity. One after that is cool story, bro. ...
I really like that one, and I'm so disappointed that it did so poorly.
It's just because I don't know. You do talk a lot in that one as well. Because you're sharing a story, but one of the things that there at the end of the story there is like a important lesson to it. If you remember, that kind of solidified why you kind of started to write the book in a way.
Okay.
Yeah. You'll have to give it a listen.
Oh, all right.
The good, the bad, and the best. Email from Faja. Proud of that one.
Yeah.
That's me. The blindfold ... An email, some memories, and a grateful heart. I was Highland. Know thyself ... Supreme Little Voice. That one's me. The Important Women in Our Lives, which is a great episode.
I think that's maybe the best one. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, I think that for me, that was when we got done. I was like, we nailed that one.
Rowan tries to blow Highland's mind. He fails. ... And then one of my favorite titles is Relationships, The Return of Faja. That one's pretty great.
Yeah.
The harsh reality of taking responsibility. The End ... And then Get Stoked ... which is what was released.
I think,
this morning.
okay, I'm just going to say these two. I really, the title, I like the hardest simple truth. I like to mess with people's mind, right? So anytime you can kind of just go opposites,
Yeah.
I'm favor of that one. And then like Rowan just freaking everybody out with the end, I think was incredible. Like that, like I got freaked out. I listened to that and I was like, what?
Well, because
What
here's
is
what happens.
happening?
So when we record the episode, we record it, we're done, and then when I'm editing it, when I'm alone, I do the intros. That's why you've never heard Highland on a single intro.
You never will. Maybe.
Well, I think eventually we'd like to get to a place where
Okay, fine.
I could just knock those out after the fact. But I was like, okay, so when we recorded the episode, which you can hear right after the music picks up, like that's when it starts. And I was like, I don't think we really convinced them enough that it is ending. So what I did was when I did the intro, I was like, let me put on my, acting hat and try and get people to think sums up. And my mom texted me and she was concerned.
Yeah.
Emmett listened to it and he was concerned.
Yeah.
Ricky also listened to it and he was concerned. So I was like, nice. I did my acting. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, those were really good ones. I think though, I mean, props to us. I think we're really doing a good job. And I think each one gets better and better. And I'm shockingly surprised and proud.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, I am too. So with that, everyone, you can email us at nopeopepod@gmail.com. The book is available in the podcast description. Our Facebook group is Nopes and Opes on Facebook. This video will go up on YouTube. So Nopes and Opes on YouTube.
It will?
We will be posting this on YouTube. I feel good about it. This will be the first one or one of the first ones that go on there. So yeah, check us out on YouTube. Like and subscribe.
Oh, no.
Leave a comment down below.
Really? Oh, God. We've entered that arena?
Nah. With all that being said, we appreciate all the love, all the support. This has been a great journey. It's going to continue to go. And I look forward to the next episode and many more to come.
Yeah. And just as the last thing, this is the first time that we get to say thank you for listening and thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching, guys. All right. See ya.